What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? How's it feel to be a winner? 19-8 over the Denver Broncos. Kansas City now making it 16 in a row over Denver. I'm sure that feels good. Harrison Butker, the leading scorer of the game. Probably didn't bet that. Sorry about that, guys. But we got plenty to break down. The boys at home, not at home. They are here in person. A lot to talk about. James Palmer from NFL Network also going to be joining us. We are here at the Kingdom Bar. We've been telling you all season long, this is the place to be. And a big shout out to Ben Holiday for the bourbon we'll be drinking in our toast game. But let's get it rolling on the Kansas City Sports Network postgame show.
$19-8 Kansas City Chiefs win on Thursday night football. What's up, everybody? Ken Swanson here with Craig Stout. Maddie Lane hanging out here with two of my bestest pals on the entire planet in person together, celebrating a Chiefs win on Thursday night football. So much to unpack with this game. Obviously, tight turnaround, ugly game. I think a lot of, it's kind of funny. I saw some tweets, about, the Chiefs fans' perspective of this game. Thought it was going to probably be pretty ugly. A lot of people thought it was going to be ugly. Mm-hmm. It was a Thursday night football game in division against the Denver Broncos. That's exactly what it was. But I think the big story for, from a positive perspective, the Chiefs looking good. Only touchdown to give up on a shorter field, and they played great throughout the entirety of the game, Matthew.
Listen, some are saying the best defense of all time. That's some people out there saying that because that's how good it's been at this point in time. I mean, the Chiefs defense took control of this game early on. I think in the first half, the Broncos essentially were moving backwards more so than forwards on the football field. Like, it was an impressive performance. And then to get the Trent McDuffie forced fumble just to kind of put that final nail in the coffin to cap it off, I think was like the perfect way to encapsulate kind of how the defense played. I know Craig felt good about getting that final fumble there because he was sweating it out a little bit after they finally gave up a successful offensive drive to the Broncos.
And yeah, I wanted the shutout. Like, let's be honest, I really wanted the shutout there. But 82 net passing yards, that's 4.22 yards per pass.
You're good at math.
That is amazing. 4 sacks, 2 INTs, a fumble recovery, a turnover on downs, 197 total yards allowed. Guys, I know that we kind of windmill dunked on this Denver Broncos defense, especially.
We got to take that all back.
Yeah. But the offense has been pretty good. Yeah. This defense basically shut them down outside of a penalty-aided, touchdown drive there at the end of the game.
I mean, 95 yards passing for Russell Wilson. 4.3 yards per attempt for Russell Wilson. They averaged 5 yards on the ground. They were more efficient turning around handing the ball than they were throwing the ball today. A really good, strong performance from the defensive side of the ball. It's kind of funny. Like, the pass deflections, I think, was one of the big stories in this game when it comes to the defense. Is watching, the Chiefs were doing a really good job of getting their hands up in the air.
Mm-hmm. And you think that was a coaching point going up against a short quarterback?
I don't know. You think? But yeah, no, George Karlaftis, 2 pass deflections, I believe. We're going to start calling it Karlaftis Island or Carl Island.
Did you know that he played water polo? I saw Maddie's tweet earlier today, or else I wouldn't have known.
I'm sorry, I got to break some news real quick. George Karlaftis used to play water polo when he was younger. I don't know if you guys have heard about that before on a broadcast or anything. So I just wanted to make sure I shared that with everybody.
No, it was terrific watching those guys get their hands up. It wasn't just George. Chris Jones had a big one. Yeah. Willie Gay had a terrific one as well on the interception. It was definitely a coaching point for an offense that wanted to get the ball out quickly. I think we talked about – I predicted that they were going to have 5 sacks in this game. They ended up with 4.
Only.
Listen, they were close. They had their opportunities. Russell Wilson there in the second half made some guys miss. He got some. I don't think he had any rushing yards in the first half, and then picked up 30 by the end of the game. So he was making some guys miss and scrambling. So they had their opportunities to get to that 5th sack there.
But that being said, they still tried to get the ball out quick. I think that was the other coaching point for the Broncos, is that they were trying to get the ball out quick because they were afraid of this offensive line holding up against the Chiefs defensive line. The 4-man rush looked competent today. They really did. It looked pretty good. And then on top of that, when they were trying to get the ball out quick to nullify the 4-man rush, getting the hands up, deflecting passes, all around great performance.
That was a really good defensive game plan from Steve Spagnuolo too. I mean, some timely blitzes. They got home a little bit. We saw it kind of like they were letting it kind of seems like their 4-man rush was even pulling up on the interior and just like almost looking to spy/bat passes down while they were getting rush up the arc a couple times. Like they're just kind of mixing some things up a little bit with Russell Wilson. And they had him in a blender. I mean, he had 95 yards passing. That's it. Like that.
That's not good.
It's not good. And so, I just kind of felt like they had his number tonight.
No, they really did. And I think, it starts with Steve Spagnuolo and some of the blitz packages he was working on. You clearly saw that, especially later in the game, that was getting into Russell Wilson's head. You saw him immediately go into some sprint outs, set the protection the wrong way, and then have a free rusher coming at him. Like that's the one that Craig's talking about, leading to Willie Gay tipping the ball for the interception. So defensive performance was great. And the defense was definitely the star of the show, but there were players on the offensive side that also stood out. There were guys, Travis Kelce had a stellar first half. Rasheed Rice really got cooking in the second half. So, like the offense, while not near as good as the defense, certainly, did some stuff there in the second half that gives you some things to be proud of.
Man, hey, Travis Kelce, have a day. Like we were just talking about in the KCSN Discord this week. Hey, is he going to get to 1,000 yards again? Missing that game, starting a little bit slowly. Guess what? He's back on pace. He's back on pace.
And he looked athletic again,
yes,
right?
He
For
did.
the first half.
Yes.
Now, listen, Alex Singleton rolled the hell out of his ankle.
Do you think Alex Singleton has a Trey Smith coming after his head in 2 weeks here?
I mean, listen, this wasn't the first time they've done it to Travis Kelce this year. This was the first. And so I've seen some people say it to Sean Payton, relating it back to Bounty Gate and stuff like that. Guys, the Broncos, this same Broncos roster has done this before to Kelce when he had his neck injury a few years ago. They were hitting him as much as they could in the back. So, I'm not saying it's dirty. I'm saying, okay, no, what Singleton did was dirty.
I will. I'll say it's Sean Payton's fault. It's the only thing that's the closest thing he can do to trying to beat the Chiefs because he's incapable of doing it. And his team looked terrible again tonight.
It was bad. So we'll see how he looks afterwards. But Travis Kelce looked very athletic to start the game, and then we got the quick 100 yards, right? And okay, now you can see easily how he's pacing back to get that next 1,000-yard season.
Yep.
We mentioned some other guys were impressive, so it was nice to see. It was nice to see parts of the offense really click.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll break down a lot of that stuff on the offensive side of the ball for sure. And I mean, there's still some defensive talking points that we have to, kind of get through. Kind of an ugly game. Chiefs slogged through it 19-8. We are going to throw it to Hayley Lewis. She's got a special guest here joining us from Arrowhead Stadium. Hayley, take it away.
All right, we got James Palmer from the NFL Network now joining us live on the field. James, I know we've both been covering the Chiefs for a while. You much longer than me, though. You've seen these divisional games quite a few times. Why is it always the divisional games that end up the weirdest scores and just the oddest, end results that we saw here, 18-9? I don't think anyone could have predicted that.
Yeah. Actually, I said that on NFL Network. I don't want to sound like a genius, but I predicted it. Right? I predicted it to be close. I think there's people... and I think that was evident to them on that staff. We'll see over the long break with type of bad as the season's gone, changes things. Potentially, if you go and snap this streak against the Chiefs, it's and the Chiefs haven't put teams like this away. They just really haven't. And so I did think it was going to be close. I didn't think it was going to be this close. I didn't think the Chiefs was trying to they did. I actually thought Denver's offensively a little better. But what I found out is this Chiefs defense that I keep hearing so much about is pretty for real.
All right, so you heard it here first. James Palmer is the person you should be using their expertise for all of your betting logics online. James, also, a big night for Travis Kelce coming back, fighting through a little bit of injury. He had some celebrities, of course, in his corner up in that suite. Talk about the game that Kelce's able to put up. I mean, the man's 34 and looking young as ever.
Were we ever doubting Travis Kelce? I mean, I've seen him come out too many times over the years where I've been told, man, it may be a game-time decision. He may be limited. He comes out, woo, goes crazy. Kelce's playing. I was told he wasn't going to be limited. This afternoon, they're pretty positive with how he was looking, and you saw the way he moved around out there. It's so funny that even when he's battling through something like that, a team just can't get an answer for him. There's so many things in this offense that are option routes. People call it playground football, backyard football. No, there's a method to it. And that's why it's so difficult to defense. I mean, he has these wide receivers try to grab their footing. Rice another step today, but at the same time, Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes are the best, in my opinion, quarterback in the NFL.
All right, good 1-2 punch there. We're lucky to have him in KC. Got to talk about the other side of the ball before we let you go. The defense, I mean, dare I say it, it's been a championship caliber defense. We haven't really been used to that in Kansas City, coming up with 2 picks and another big showing out of Nick Bolton, Justin Reed popping up as well. The secondary for Kansas City looking stout too, a very young secondary. Tell me, I mean, what are you seeing from maybe the field vantage of how well the Chiefs are continuing to do on the defensive side of the ball every single week and looking like they're even going to continue to improve?
No, it's the reverse, Hayley, honestly. Defense gets better at or I guess keep watching this.
Yeah. All right, well, 16 in a row over the Broncos for Kansas City, extending that streak and also grabbing the NFL record. James, appreciate you being on. Enjoy your rest of the time in Kansas City. Hope you get some good barbecue before you head home.
Guys, I got later.
All right, guys, we'll throw it back to you. Boys in the studio. Can't say boys at home. Boys in the studio. What you got for me?
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network. Make sure you download our new app. Find it on the App Store or Google Play. Just search KC Sports Network.
All right, Chiefs win 19-8. I wish that was scoregami. We at least deserved a scoregami in that game.
What's a scoregami?
You don't know what scoregami is?
No, I would love you to explain it to me.
Do you really not know what a scoregami is?
I do not.
Okay, it's when there is a unique score in the NFL that has never occurred before.
Okay.
This feels close to something that you would get out of a scoregami. It's not, but
John Boyce came up with scoregami. Yeah, of course he did. He's a genius.
Of course he did. But anyways, I can't believe you didn't know about that.
I just wanted you to explain it. There's some people that there's like scoregami people and there's non-scoregami people, and you know, I'm glad you're in the scoregami people camp.
Yeah. Well, I wish the Chiefs scored more than 19 points.
Oh boy.
I wish the scoregami was 91-8. But it wasn't. It was just I know I saw some people kind of saying, hey, like, you know, we're waiting for, you know, the lab guys to kind of just say, well, you know, it's a Thursday night game.
No.
I think you can explain away that a little bit, but not to the extent that we saw tonight. It was just a really difficult performance from this team, and I think there's some little indicators in this. Some of the choices Patrick Mahomes made tonight, I think were kind of one of the big things. Watching him check down so much to the back. You're looking at this game, and you know Isaiah Pacheco gets 6 catches, Jerick McKinnon gets 3 catches, Clyde Edwards-Helaire they had 10 catches between the running backs. It felt like they were having to work down to the back because nothing was open down the field. A lot of those were checkdowns, and I think that's like just an indication of kind of where this offense is at. A little bit disjointed. And it just doesn't seem like they were able to get open consistently down the field.
Listen, I'll rip off the Band-Aid right now. I thought this was going to be an ugly game, right? Like, I thought this was going to be an ugly game. I said it. It's a Thursday night game versus a divisional opponent. This is an Andy Reid special where he's not going to show you a lot of stuff, and he's just going to squeak by. It didn't feel like that. This didn't feel like a game where Andy Reid was just trying to squeak by and sit on a lead because the defense was dominating. This didn't feel like a game where the Chiefs went out there and just shot themselves in the foot over and over again with penalties, bad drops, or anything like that. This looked and felt like an offense that had absolutely nothing in sync, nothing clicking. To Kent's point, it got so bad that they were just running basic like hitch flat concepts with a running back and hitting the running back almost in stride at the back of the drop because they had no faith that someone was going to get open. And yeah, I know there's a couple clips going around when you finally got, Amazon finally decided to show a replay with a good angle. And there was a guy running free, but you have to see how deep it was into the play and where Mahomes was looking. I'm not saying it's a Mahomes thing, a coaching thing, a wide receiver specific thing. I think everything's involved, but this offensive performance was pitiful. The Denver Broncos entered this game as the worst defense of all time through 5 weeks. The worst defense of all time. They held the Chiefs to 19 points, despite the fact that the Chiefs forced three turnovers, really. We won't even have to count the last one. They forced 2 turnovers, another turnover on downs. Their average starting field position for the first half was past their own 40-yard line, and they still only mustered 19 points. They completely dominated this game, and at one point in time, late in the fourth quarter, it was a one-score football game because the offense was playing and highly inept.
Highly inept. And it was everything. Like, it really was. If they weren't targeting Travis Kelce in the middle of the field against zone defense, which the Broncos insisted on continually running snap after snap, they did not try and disguise it. This offense sucked today. Just plain and simple. They were worse on third down than the Broncos were.
They were 4 out of 13.
They were 4 for 13, and the Broncos were 4 for 10. They were 1 for 5 in the red zone. That is terrible. And there were instances here. It would be one thing if they came out and they ran a bunch of vanilla offensive plays. Yeah. We just saw, them hammering inside zone, outside zone, simple route concepts over and over and over again. And they toughed out this game on a short week, and it was what it was. Kadarius Toney had the ball in his hands as the dictating play caller, the dictating choice here. Threw a pass
not once
into double coverage that he shouldn't have thrown.
Hold up, let him cut.
And then another one that he should have given the ball to Isaiah Pacheco, and he kept it for himself. There was a play early in this game that Kadarius Toney motioned across the formation 4 times, and they gave him the ball on the 4th one. It's like, of course the defense is paying attention to that man. Why would you give him the ball? You got to check out of it. It was bad. Like, it really was bad. And the offensive line was fine. The run game was fine. Like, there were elements of this that were fine. But when you are playing one of the worst defenses in the history, the worst defense in the history of the NFL through 5 weeks, and you look like that, that's bad news. Like, that, I can't explain that away to a short week. I can't explain that away to anything other than this offense was bad tonight against the Denver Broncos defense that is also really bad.
How bad, you said?
Bad.
Okay.
How bad?
Pass rushing the passer, bad. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about like some of the third and short stuff because it's becoming another theme again, another year in, another year out. Yeah, we do. And look, we always like to talk about things that could keep this team from winning the Super Bowl. It feels like they kind of have things figured out on the third and short stuff, the fourth and short stuff by the playoffs. It's like, they've been able to execute that stuff a lot better when it comes down to crunch time. But watching this team try to do the most ridiculous creative things to try to get 1 yard and actively try to take the ball out of the hands of the best player in the world twice on third and short, fourth and short situations. It's so frustrating to watch.
They ran a fake field goal.
They tried
Noah Gray motioning in and Tommy Townsend being the push in a tush push.
And James Winchester being your leverage man.
Literally behind me. I was the point man for this.
Yeah.
Same size as James.
I know. What are we doing here?
Okay, so here's my only pushback on this. The Chiefs do this every year on their third and fourth shutdown packages. They start getting real goofy. They'll do it in the red zone too. And hey, we can talk about red zone lack of execution here as well, really. So they've done this every year. And then they kind of figure out what works and they start to pare it down. And like last year, we hit that stretch where it was McCole Hardman jet sweep, and they were touchdown. Get to the playoffs, corn dog. They figure that out. So I'm a little bit less worried about some of that stuff. I don't like the way that things are getting there, right? Like they go in there and they seem to have a lack of faith in the offense led by Patrick Mahomes to go pick up those 1 to 2 yards, whether it's a QB sneak, whether it's just running the ball. 2 years ago, they still had the threat of a Michael Burton fullback dive.
Correct.
Even last year to start the year, there was still the threat of that. This year, they don't even have that. And it's not that they don't have Michael Burton. They just don't really have that big bruising running back. And I get it. Isaiah Pacheco, phenomenal player. We love how he's running. He also sometimes decides to just completely ignore blockers exist and just run where he wants to. Now, he hasn't done that on third and short plays, right? But like, it's still hard to call like, oh, hey, go follow your blockers on this play when sometimes he won't. So just, they don't have any faith in their short yardage package. The problem is, I don't know if they have faith in any of their offense. Their entire offense is built around Patrick Mahomes making plays and Travis Kelce being wide open. Anytime those two things aren't happening, This kid's gross.
Well, he was wide open today, and they still struggled to put the ball in the end zone.
I mean, and again, Patrick Mahomes threw for 306 yards. It's not the end of the world, but it's crazy to think about that. I want to pivot to another positive here. I know we're running down the offense.
Can I pivot to one quick positive before we get off Kadarius Toney? His passer rating of 39.6 was only 7 points lower than Russell Wilson's.
That's too bad. No, positive. Rashee Rice looked great today.
Yeah,
he really did. Yeah. Shocker when he was targeted. Good things.
Hey, shout out James Palmer. He had the nice little video this morning. They're talking about how Rashee Rice was impressive and was given more things to do last week. Was given a bigger role. I guarantee you, this week his snap count's going to be higher than it has been all year. And when you go back and watch, they were moving him around more. He was playing outside a lot. He wasn't just stationed in the slot. He was the backside isolated wide receiver and 3x1 stuff. A lot. He didn't get his targets from there necessarily, but he was there a lot. So that is definitely worth noting.
That's an extreme positive for him already this year. I know that he's constantly going to be compared to Sky Moore. Sky Moore constantly compared to him, back-to-back second-round picks and all of that. They are putting way more on his plate right now than they had at this point in Sky Moore's rookie year. Doubt. And he's producing 4 for 72 today, had a terrific game, and it seemed like he showed up big. There was even that little bubble screen that they ran there at the end of the game that he about converted a third and super long. Yeah. That explosion is so real and so much fun to watch.
It's needed.
Yes, it's needed. But they need more than that right now.
They do. It's great to see Rashee Rice kind of taking a step. Like, that's so exciting. And I think we've all kind of we kind of felt like this was starting to come. We thought this was getting here pretty quick. But it's good to see higher production from. I think that's the most yards he's had in a game so far in his rookie season. Tucker D. Franklin jumping in here. What you got for us, Tuck?
I got a positive note about the offense, and then I got a positive note about Patrick Mahomes, as he is the first quarterback in NFL history to beat the same team 12 times in a row.
That's delightful.
Do we think, real quick, everyone go on record, is he going to be the first quarterback to beat the same team 13 times in a row?
Yes.
In 2 weeks?
Yes.
Yeah.
And 14 and 15 and 16 and 17. And by then, Sean Payton making everyone else the scapegoat will run dry, and someone else will be the new coach, and they'll probably have to start from scratch again. So I don't see it happening anytime soon. Can't wait.
Sorry, Tucker, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that was a great stat from Tucker D. Frank.
That's all I had.
Okay. Oh, that's nice. I think you guys, the alarm sounds a little bit at the receiver position. I mean,
a little.
Outside of Rashee Rice, it's bad. Kadarius Toney, 3 catches, 9 yards. Still struggling to get involved. He's healthy.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling had 1 target and no receptions.
Justin Watson, no targets, 1 reception.
And he got hurt. We don't know how bad it was.
We don't know how bad. I feel bad for him.
Yeah. We're waiting on that update, but it's not like he was doing all. Okay, we make a lot of jokes about Justin Watson being wide receiver 1, and he has been. But it's just been like a de facto wide receiver 1 because he's making big plays, right? Yeah. It's not like he's out there just executing exceptionally well. So whether he's hurt long-term or not, what are you hanging your hat on with this offense? Name one thing with this wide receiver room that you're hanging your hat on saying that's going to work come playoff time.
Rashee Rice's explosion.
Yep.
Yeah. And you're relying on essentially right now, the team's playing zone, taking away Kelce, giving him avoided space, which I'm not saying that in a negative way, but you're relying on the defense to do one particular thing to get him the ball and do that. So what's the next thing? What else are you relying on this wide receiver room right now? You have till the end of October if you're going to make a move and improve it. You don't have that much more time. I don't know how many more games they possibly need to see here.
I believe it was with 13 minutes and 43 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter that I turned to you and I said, do you think this team trades for a wide receiver this week?
I know you said it. I don't know if they're going to. I think they'll be a little bit more stubborn and bullish on this group. I don't think they're going to give up quite yet. This is a mini buy for them. You talked about Rashee Rice and his involvement here. It seems like the Chiefs have done, normally it comes at the bye week. They start making some more of their adjustments into some of the decisions on what they're going to do moving forward. This is a mini buy. Maybe this is a chance to get Rashee Rice involved a little bit more, but I think they're going to play it out here a little bit. I think they're going to play it out for the next couple of games at least. And, they're 5-1 now, sitting.
It's still the AFC's number 1 seed.
Still the 1 seed.
What happens this week?
Yeah. Still the 1 seed. It's I don't know, man. I think they'll probably slug this out. And if you think about it, if they trade for a wide receiver right now, they're trading for him to try to throw him into the middle of a couple of divisional games.
No,
you know,
they're trading for him from the back half of the year.
Right.
Let's be
real
here.
I think they might just kind of wait to see what the market looks like when it gets closer to the deadline.
But like, they don't need a Van Jefferson to come in and fight with the guys they already have to maybe get 2 targets in a game. If they make a move, it has to be someone that moves the needle. And I don't know if there's a point of like waiting necessarily for that. I'm fine with it. I'm not going to sit here and say the Chiefs have to make a move to go win a Super Bowl or anything like that. But if I'm sitting here right now and you're making me guess the Chiefs win a Super Bowl or not based on what we've seen, if they don't significantly improve at wide receiver, the answer is no. Yeah. Now, is that improvement going to come from the development of the young guys they have or an outside person? That's where it's up in the air. Outside of Rashee Rice, and I still think his usage has to be a little bit limited because he's a rookie, a little bit limited. They need to find somebody else to come in there and matter. And I don't think they have that right now. If they don't get that, they're not going to win the Super Bowl. They have to get somebody to be reliable and to matter in this offensive room, or they won't win the Super Bowl. And I just don't know what we can hang our hat on right now, who we can believe on the roster is going to be that come playoff time.
Tucker D. Franklin wants to jump back in here with some nuggets. Is it from the Andy's presser, Tucker?
Yep. Andy just stepped to the podium a little bit ago. This is from our friend Charles Goldman. Andy Reid says wide receiver Justin Watson has an elbow injury. Quote, it's not broken, so that's a positive thing. And also Andy Reid on the fake field goal said we were trying to stay aggressive. Probably would want that one back.
You think?
Yeah.
I've also seen a quote of him taking ownership of, I called that. Well, you might have. You might have allowed it, but you didn't call it. I don't know. Maybe you think he's calling for that play, or you think it's Tobe?
I think that Andy wants to dog walk the Denver Broncos any way he can.
I do too. I think he wants to dog walk Sean Payton.
I think Andy called Tobe for his best his best fake field goal.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. He just said, he said, hey, Dave, we're going to run a fake field goal here. What do you got? And that was Dave's play. Now, that's a problem in itself.
It is. And I understand, again, we were talking about it during the game. I understand the logic a little bit on that particular play. You know, the center has to be uncovered. Yep. Like that is required until the moment that somebody shifts underneath the line or underneath center there. But it took a little bit too long to get developed. Noah Gray shifts under there. It needs to be snapped immediately before anybody can make an adjustment. And you go and you try and push there. It was a long 2 yards.
That's the issue. It was the long 2 because the center's uncovered.
Yeah.
The Denver Broncos had overloaded the right side because it's a field goal. Nobody just lines up straight up anymore. Correct. So they had plenty of space to the left.
I mean, and a natural bubble to run to.
They really easily had enough space. The problem is it was a long 2.
Long 2.
It was a long 2. And you're running behind a 230-pound long snapper, and Tommy Townsend with a hurt knee is one of your tush pushers.
They didn't even measure or try because like the whole pile didn't even get to the line to gain.
It didn't.
I have another note here from Andy Reid. Jordan Foote tweeting this out. Andy Reid on why Rashee Rice is getting a heavier workload. He's been getting better every week. I think you guys see that he's explosive and strong after the catch. That's why.
And didn't drop a pass.
2 straight weeks?
Look at that.
We're 2 straight weeks without him dropping a pass. Tucker D. Franklin jumping back in here. The D stands for jumping back in.
Yes, it does. Here's a good one, courtesy of our research department, a.k.a. Christian. Did you know the last time a team won 19-8 was October 12th of 1927?
Oh, man. We were so
close to Scorigami.
What Scorigami?
We were 96 years. It's been 96 years since the last time a team won a game 19-8.
They should come up with a cool name for something like that.
Well, you should come up with one. We'll give you a break real quick to think about it. You're going to come back. We'll come back. We'll be right back after this.
The break is going to be me telling you about DraftKings Sportsbook as the NFL season is going strong, and DraftKings Sportsbook is hooking new customers up with an offer that is even stronger, folks. Here's what you can do. $200, bet $5 on any game this week and score $200 instantly in bonus bets, and DraftKings isn't stopping there. All customers can take advantage of a sweetener offer every game day this October. Get in on the game day greatness. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code KCSN. New customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets when you bet $5 on the NFL. That's code KCSN only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. Licensee partner Golden Nugget, Lake Charles, Louisiana. 21 plus age varies by jurisdictions. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Back to you, Kent.
Oh, thanks, Tucker.
Kent, you did not tell me how electric that is.
I know.
It's
It's beautiful. I'll tell you what, I'm having a lot more fun with you guys here. Like, this is just infinitely, just having you all here is just, it's been great.
Matt, you mountains.
Ooh, can we do a show? I think BJ would let us do a show from the mountains. Ladies,
hold on.
Chiefs beat the Broncos 31-20. What's up, everybody? Kent Swanson from Pikes Peak here.
Before you go to the defense, we got to talk about something on the offensive side of the ball we haven't talked about yet. I don't know how. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I don't mean to.
Yeah, you do.
We haven't talked about Travis Kelce pitching another football to Noah Gray on a live play on a whim because it happened so early in the game when we were still full of hope and joy for this offense before the Chiefs offense sucked all the fun out of it. Like, that was crazy. Yet again, it was crazy. That was probably the cleanest one, too.
Oh, easily.
The one that LaShawn McCoy, it looked really cool, but it was chaos. Mm-hmm. This one looked really clean, and there was even some people saying, I wonder if that was a hook. No, it wasn't. That was not planned. That was so not planned.
All right, it was not planned, but it was practiced. Okay, I think that is 100%. So. Oh, they absolutely. Look, he's ready for it. If you're watching right now, he is ready for it before the ball goes out of his hands.
If you watch,
look at Noah Gray's hands. He's ready. His body is ready
because they locked eyes. Kelsey's talking about they locked eyes.
All right, here's the thing. They do Laboratory Wednesdays, I think it's Laboratory Wednesdays or Thursday, where the players kind of try to introduce some of their concepts or play ideas. Like, they're introducing play ideas. I bet you during that day, they are practicing hook and laterals, and they are working on this.
I am telling you, on that play, Travis Kelce got open so early, he settled down. He was directly in Noah Gray's route path, and Noah Gray had to adjust his route.
He was ready. Noah was ready. Noah knew it was a possibility. It's like the no-look pass. It's like
he knows he's a flanker.
It's like the no-look pass with Mahomes, right? You got to be ready at all times. You got to be ready for a pitch from Travis Kelce at all times.
I agree with that. I'm just saying it wasn't a planned thing.
Right. It wasn't a play call. It wasn't a play design.
If it makes you feel any better, Travis definitely thought about it again on his second reception.
Yes, he did.
Did you
and it wasn't even like anybody was.
Nobody was around. He pulled the ball up and went, "Nah, I got to keep this one."
Well, because he was about to get pummeled too. Like, he didn't even have much time, but he was ready to. He was trying to show off for Taylor.
Coolest thing the Chiefs have done on offense all year.
How excited was Taylor Swift for Travis Kelce tonight too?
Oh, can we be a Taylor Swift podcast now?
No.
Just like,
can we go to defense?
Can we just do like 1,989 seconds on Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's dynamic here? I thought one more quick nugget on Kelce. This has nothing to do with
Chiefs are undefeated when Swift's in the building.
They are, and they've played their best offensive performance and worst offensive performance with Taylor Swift. So they are really just breaking tendencies.
Was this worse than the Lions?
Was she there for the Lions? She was there for the Bears game.
Okay.
And then she was there for the Jets game.
God, why do I have this in my brain?
Enjoy.
It's because you're.
Was this worse than the Jets game?
Yeah.
It's close.
Jets defense is good.
The Broncos. Yeah. What's our excuse here? I also thought it was funny that Travis Kelce was pointing to the flats.
I love that one when he lined up and everybody collapsed on him and he just points over here. It's like, no, you got to throw to the flat.
He told Paz, like, nah, just,
Hey, listen, we talked about Kadarius Toney's reverse pass thing. Mahomes was pointing to the go route that definitely should not have been thrown. Mahomes himself was pointing to Jerick McKinnon, and boy, a jump ball to Jerick McKinnon between a cornerback and a safety. That's something only Tua gets away with, and we praise him for it.
It was a pretty spiral, though, from Kadarius Toney.
Hey, listen,
we've seen
we witnessed him do that at the Senior Bowl. That man can launch it. Yeah.
All right, we can talk about the defense again.
The good side, woo!
Craig, what do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about. Let's talk a little bit about the linebacker play.
Okay.
Little bit up and down. I thought Drew Tranquil had a really good game. I thought Leo Chanel had a really good game. Nick Bolton had an up and down game, couple of missed tackles that he's definitely going to want back. But his, walling off, kind of the inner breaking routes there and picking off that ball, fantastic job by him. Absolutely fantastic job. It was a little bit up and down, though. The Broncos did get over 100 yards rushing, 5 yards per rush. A lot of that was stuff that was broken at the line of scrimmage. Linebackers getting downhill, getting hands on the running back and not able to bring him down. this could have been even more of a bloodbath on the defensive side of the ball if this team would have tackled a little bit better on the second level. It really could have been. So I looked at this defense a little bit and I went, listen, great plays by Nick Bolton, some that he wants back. It's kind of the experience.
It's his career, times. Right?
It's just kind of who he is there. But Drew Tranquill still showing quality addition there, got more reps as the Will linebacker, as the Mike linebacker, rotating in for Bolton, for Gay. Willie Gay Jr. has a great game. Leo Chenal has a great game. It was all good on the linebackers other than a couple of plays there.
They found a way to use all 4 linebackers in a game while they were all healthy without having to limit, earlier in the season, it was limiting Drew Tranquill's reps, right? And it was very clear that he was playing very well, but they had to limit his reps a little bit to get everything to work. And it was like trying to fit the 3-3-5 defense out there so that they could find a way to get Drew Tranquill. It didn't seem like they were having to fit Tranquill on the field now. Now they were able just to let him go out there, line up, and play. And so it was a little bit of everybody. Now, the Broncos made that easy. They let the Chiefs play in base a lot.
Yeah,
so I am intrigued to see what the Chiefs' normal nickel package is going to look like and what that's going to be. Because I'm sorry, getting Drew Tranquill off the field for this defense is a problem. That is just absolutely silly to have Drew Tranquill off the field. He's their best run defending linebacker. I don't even think it's close. And he's the smallest.
You might be right.
Yeah. And he's the smallest of them.
Yeah.
But the way he reads out the play, the way he is able to knife through gaps, the way he is able to disengage from blockers is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I think he's clearly their best versus the run, and he's obviously their most, I don't know how to say it, the most fluid in coverage, probably. Maybe not, but he's not as athletic as Willie Gay. Willie Gay is going to be the best.
Natural. He's the most natural coverage linebacker they have.
He seems to get it. It's like
it's a safety. Yeah.
Get him on the field. I don't know. He was on the field a lot. Just keep him on the field.
We're going to get Tucker on the field again here. What's up?
I got a quote from linebacker Nick Bolton. You guys are talking about Nick Bolton. He's at the podium. This is from Jordan Foote, and he said he thinks he had some sloppy tackling and was knocking off some of the rust tonight. Okay. But he's excited about the defense and thinks everyone is trending in the right direction. Quote, "We keep that up every week and we'll be special."
Yep.
Agreed with all of that.
Yeah. I mean, talk about trending up. Like Malik Herring had his best game as a Chief.
Had a great game.
Good for him.
Way to ruin a toast game.
We spent all day on Chiefs Twitter. We spent all day on Chiefs Twitter talking about swapping Malik Herring for Frank Clark today.
I spent a lot of time flying today, so I was not part of that.
Okay.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time driving today.
Okay, if you guys were on Twitter today, I've been in the DMs with you guys today.
Not really.
You've advocated. Okay. Tucker's back.
Please save us.
I'm back because I found his stat. This is from per Chiefs Communications, dating back to last season. Defensive tackle Chris Jones has a sack in 8 straight regular season games, tying linebacker Justin Houston for the second longest streak in franchise history, trailing only his own franchise record of 11 straight games set in 2018. Chris was looking pretty gassed towards the end of the game, but
he was, but I mean, it was still good. Like, he was still beating the hell out of that offensive line. It was really quick wins. It was just, hey, I'm not gonna. Hey, George, go chase it.
He saw, dude. Chris saw Travis Kelce pointing to the flats, and then he decided he wanted to do it, so he pointed to the flats and
Russell Wilson
George to go chase.
Like, hey, George,
you go chase. Go chase.
Yeah, he got his ankles broken. Said, George, go get him. I can't.
Like, I'm good. He's doing the same exact thing. Death taxes and 1 Chris Jones sack is what we're doing.
Listen, man, I'll take it. I will take that. Sticking with the defensive side of the ball real quick here. I thought this was Justin Reed's best game. I really did. Most impactful game, I guess, maybe is the best way of putting that. I thought he laid the wood. I thought he came downhill and really laid some big hits. That very play right there. Russell Wilson was trying to extend it, and Justin Reed just laid him out on the sidelines. Comes up with a big pick, gets his hands on a ball as well. Like, was really effective today. And for a guy that maybe isn't Chiefs fans' favorite defensive player, I thought this was a pretty good game for him.
I mean, he loaded up the stat sheet. He was second on the team in tackles. He had a sack, tackle for loss, pass defense, had the interception. Like, he was kind of doing a little bit of everything. I think this is a game kind of tailor-made for Justin Reed, right? He was able to play close to the line of scrimmage. There wasn't a constant need to keep him over the top to help people. And I think we would all agree that he's probably the weaker in coverage than versus the run, especially playing the vertical aspect of the field, right? Like, so the Broncos don't have a tight end that matches up poorly with him,
right,
to really stress him there. And he wasn't stuck playing deep. So you got to see the very good version of Justin Reed here. And the thing that we worry about teams is keeping the ball, playing ball control, keeping it away from the Chiefs offense. And I mean, he when he's playing like this really helps them stop that.
Do we worry about that right now?
Well, I think that was some of the intentionality of the Broncos coming into this game. I mean, you saw
they should retry.
It took them 5.5. Well, it took them 5.5 minutes to gain 36 yards in that first drive.
Yeah,
and I think they were trying to play
the
that
Chiefs
ball.
or the Broncos.
Yeah. Well, the offense started hot.
Offense started. Travis Kelce, he was great.
He was showing out for Tay. They just weren't finishing in the red zone. Like we don't have to. Do we want to go back? I don't want to go back to the offense. Is there anything on the defensive side of the ball else that you want to talk about?
I thought Jalen Watson played pretty good.
Yeah.
He gave up that touchdown to Cortland Sutton, which was a phenomenal catch, right? Like he was doing his best to force him out. He'd already got called for kind of like one ticky-tack pass interference on Cortland Sutton. Interference. So like I thought he played pretty well. We're still trying to figure out who cornerback 3 is, right? Joshua Williams, Jalen Watson are still fighting back and forth, and you see the pros for both, right? Jalen Watson seems to understand the defense. Joshua Williams is clearly the better athlete, right? Like he's clearly the guy better suited to go out there and cover good wide receivers. It's like they're kind of jockeying for position. I thought this was a strong game for Jalen Watson. Get a couple good tackles, couple good hits, pass breakup there late in the game. So good for Jalen Watson. I thought it's probably the best game out of any of the third, like out of him or Joshua Williams all year was probably this game versus Denver for him.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I really would. And this is not like a bad set of wide receivers. I mean, listen, Cortland Sutton's a good football player, and Jerry Jeudy's a really good football player, even despite what Steve Smith said before the game.
What did Steve Smith say?
There was just a little bit of a disagreement between the two. I can't repeat it. But Jerry Jeudy said some unkind words to Steve Smith after Steve Smith questioned Jerry Jeudy, and then they kind of argued a little bit about it. And essentially, Steve Smith boiled it down to if an NFL team called him and said, "Hey, should we trade for Jerry Jeudy?" He would say, "No, you shouldn't. He's not good. He's a jag." Now,
well, he might be a jag if the Broncos are looking to trade.
That being said, he should not get out of Kansas City.
Yeah, I was going to say, does he want to stay here?
He should get a giant net and just throw it over him on the way to the airport and just trap him here. And I feel like if he is stuck here and unable to report back to the Broncos, we get rights as a team. Not a person.
Can they also make a bigger net and collect Cortland Sutton as well?
No. You're only allowed one net per team.
Man.
You only get one net usage per season. I think we should use it on Jerry Jeudy.
Why didn't we use it on Justin Jefferson last week?
His hamstring was busted. It's like there's a clause in there. You can't use it on an injured player.
Fine.
Oh man. Anything else on defense, boys?
No, I think that's good. Before our rewatch.
Yeah, I mean that covers it right now. It was live. We were watching all together, so we were spending a little bit more time talking. Craig wasn't able to chart necessarily. I wasn't able to rewatch stuff.
Fun
so
stats
I think that's the best we got right now. Unless you want me to rant about the offense more.
I don't. I think we need to save that for the lab and let things
so far away.
The all 22 will be out by Monday for sure, hopefully. And
that's more points than the Chiefs scored.
Let's I'll save it. I got it. Never mind. I got it. This is a tweet from PJ Green here. Patrick Mahomes at the podium right now, and he was talking about his reaction to Travis Kelce's pitch. He said, "Quote, it's Travis."
Was not playing.
I believe that wasn't. I believe that is called the El Travador.
It's the mustache. He's just. It's the Taylor Swift freestyle.
I got another Mahomes quote if you
want.
Fine.
Is it as good as that one?
No.
It's a loose show.
It's more serious than this one, than the last one. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes is from Jordan Foote. Quote, "Luckily for us, our defense is great, so we can go through these growing pains." Says he wants to help make it easier on the defense, and he can see the talent on offense. Casey has a sense of urgency to get things figured out.
I bet they do.
Hopefully it's a sense of urgency on the phones to GMs or about that giant net to capture Jerry Jeudy.
Jerry net.
The visual I have in my head.
It's just Brett Veach like don't
Who's with him?
I got you.
Who does he trust to go with him to man the other side of the net? That's what I want to know.
Thank you for the super chats, by the way.
Yeah, shout out everyone. Thank you. Appreciate you for all the super chats. We genuinely appreciate that. A toast game goes to you, and we're actually going to jump to our toast game segment right now. We're going to start, of course, as always, with Hayley Lewis at the Kingdom Bar and Grill. What's up, Hayley?
All right, thanks, Kate. We're going to start with our toast game tonight, thanks to Little Ben Holiday, the good bourbon in these old fashions. I got Jory joining me. Who would you be toasting to tonight?
Oh, Nick Bolt, transformative linebacker,
Great to have him back off of injury. We love Nick Bolton, KC. A great cheers. Good choice. I got to give it up for Harrison Butker. Solid all night in 18-mile-per-hour winds throughout it. We're lucky to have him here in Kansas City. We'll throw back to the boys who are not at home in the studio, though, to give us their toasts.
We'll start with Tucker D. Franklin. I wonder what he's going to go with tonight.
Well, you know, you hate to see some of the things on a night like this. Justin Watson gets a little banged up. Doesn't seem very serious, but, you know, they got the mini bye. They got a lot of time to get right and get some good health. So I'm going to raise the glass to good health, get everybody rested up. Travis was limping. Hopefully he gets things right, but to good health. Here,
10 days.
fellas.
To good health.
10 days.
10 days to get some good health.
You love to see it.
Electric. Just absolutely. Ken, why aren't you informing the people at home at how electric Tucker's segment is?
It's so I'm in awe of it.
Well,
is the problem.
because of your failings, you can go next on the toast game.
That's fine. I want to use this. I'm going to salute. I'm going to toast Patrick Lavon Mahomes, who, according to Christian Martinez, the wonderful Christian Martinez,
I don't like this.
Mahomes owns the Chiefs record for most completions. He has passed Lynn Dawson tonight. So a toast game.
Hey, yeah.
Patrick Lavon
I'll give
Mahomes
it up.
leading the Chiefs organization in completions before he turns 29.
You have one?
I do have one. Do you want to go? Do you want me to go?
This is cute.
How you feel?
I got this.
Okay.
We are going to go with big Donovan Smith playing left tackle. I thought this was going to be a rough game for him with Nick Benito, Jonathan Cooper's speed coming off the edge. I thought that was a pretty tricky matchup for him, and I thought he generally did a pretty good job. I know he picked up a holding penalty, but if that's the only issue I have with Donovan Smith in a game that I think is one of his worst matchups, I think that's pretty good. So I thought Donovan Smith played pretty good, and he was still good as a run blocker. So yeah, shout out Donovan Smith. I
like
solid,
that one.
Solid play.
Patrick Fee, our guy, is admiring our large glasses of bourbon.
Shout out, Patrick.
This was a refill during the break too.
Hey, thanks, Patrick.
Thanks, Patrick.
Yeah. My toast game is to the entire secondary. Fellas, I do have some stats here.
Oh, this is great.
Craig-a-lytics.
I do have a little bit of Craig-a-lytics here. Russell Wilson tonight threw for 95 yards. Yes, it was 82 net yards, but 95 total yards.
Net?
That's a fact.
Yes.
Judy net.
No, 95 total yards. That is the third lowest of his career.
Wow.
I'm surprised.
He threw for 93 in 2017 with Seattle against the Dallas Cowboys and 72 in 2018 against the Minnesota Vikings. Those are the only 3 times that he has been under 100 yards passing in a game in his career. So a big toast to a quarterback that finished a game under 100 yards.
Shout out secondary.
Shout out to the secondary for that one there. Toast.
Well, Toast Game is, as always, sponsored by Ben Holiday. Bottled in Bond Bourbon. We are sipping on the soft red right now, which
sipping
is I think it's becoming my favorite one.
Honorary Toast Game. I got one.
Okay.
The entire defense, because the offense needs all the help they can get.
Fine.
Seconded.
Twist my arm. Yeah. All right. That is going to do it for this KCSN post game. Chiefs win 19-8 on a Thursday night against the Denver Broncos. Appreciate everyone that has stayed up to watch, listen. Appreciate everybody that's listening tomorrow morning when this goes up. For Craig Stout, Maddie Lane, Tucker Franklin, and everyone behind the scenes doing a wonderful job. We appreciate you. We'll catch you later.
First place in the AFC.